5, 4, 3, 2.
There were many, who would have been outside Freemasonry and just sort of in Enlightenment discourse that would have looked at America as the new Atlantis. Again, this is the new utopia. We come here to get away from monarchy, to get away from the social ills that we see in Europe, and we get to basically start over. And we get to reimagine what communal life should be, what the ideal state would be. And, when Bacon writes New Atlantis about this imaginary place somewhere else, outside of Europe, that people go to and really start this thing called civilization over again. When America's discovered, of course, by Bacon's time it was known, but when people start to migrate in serious numbers to North America, this is what they're thinking. This is the new Atlantis. This is the great country, the wonderful country where we get to actually conduct these experiments, and reimagining what life should be like, what the state should be like. An imaginary world where social justice is achieved, whatever that means. The Enlightenment contributes a lot to, again, the utopian thinking. The Enlightenment, of course, terribly important. Again, the age and elevation of reason, human reason. Well, if you're in Europe, and again, you've been living with centuries of monarchy, and you don't like aristocracy, and you see all the abuses there, the real, strict division of classes, economic states. You think, boy, we ought to be able to do this better. We ought to be able to think for ourselves, and we ought to have checks and balances in our government. We ought to have power divided among many, and all these political ideas we're familiar with that actually are sort of launched in the Enlightenment. Well, they launch movements. Of course, we have the American Revolution, which I have listed second, but chronologically it preceded the French Revolution. The American Revolution was, a violent revolution, but as far as the transition of power and the establishment of power within the community, we had peaceful transitions from presidency to presidency, and so on and so forth. This is why after Washington left office, people were really nervous. Is this actually going to work?
This is the new Atlantis.
It's actually gonna work.
An imaginary world where social justice is achieved, whatever that means.